Hey guys, it's BlueBlade11 back with another Shadowverse video. Today, I'm going to be looking at Control Haven, the biggest fuck you deck in rotation right now. God, I hate this thing. Let's go. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. My variant is a bit more aggressive, and then I took out the Imiter, which is a common staple in this deck, and I put in a sneak attack. Yeah, just replace it with sneak attack. Goes good solid amulet. Gives you extra reach, 1 mana, can't go wrong! And I also replaced one of the one-off slot from Accel Light with 4-pillar tortoise for that kill consistency. You can replace that tortoise with literally anything else and the deck will do perfectly fine. I just put it in there because, I was having a bit of trouble with drawing kill some games, so solid one-off. Wouldn't recommend any more than 2. Those are your flexible slots, kind of. The rest of the deck is pretty straightforward. So you have your draw cards in Golden Bell and Major Prayers. So those 2 cards are part of your draw engine and the world, I guess. Golden Bell and world also feed into your heal engine, kind of. The world not so much, but hey, heal 5 ain't bad. Golden Bell on the other hand, 1 mana heal 1, always relevant. Especially with our heal control package, consisting of Lorena and Kel. So if you don't already know these cards, you're sure as hell gonna know them after this game. So Lorena, heal twice in 1 turn. Make sure you play this thing first, because when you heal twice in 1 turn, the second time you heal, if this thing is on board when you heal the second time, you get a free Evo. Neat. Kel, on the other hand, is about to rotate, Rebirth of Glory expansion all the way back last year. Gonna rotate in a month or so, but while he's still around, he's still a royal pain in the ass. So when he's unevolved, and whenever you proc a heal on your leader, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. When he's evolved, heal 2, which means 1 proc of his effect, and instead of dealing 1 damage, it deals 2 damage. Twice the damage per heal proc. Good for board clear. Amazing if you're the Haven player. Tears if you're a Shadow or Sword or any other board-based class. God, I can't tell you the number of games I've lost to this damn guy. Alright, and I guess Yukari kind of counts for the whole heal control package thing. Union Burst. It's usually you activate around turn 7 or turn 8. Basically the biggest fuck you to all burn damage effects and other damage based spell or effect effects that damage effects to clear your board or control your board. Just totally nullifies all that, negates that damage to 0. Great card, great when comboed with the world's effect on turn 10. Great for denying your enemies lethal on turn 10, before and after, especially against Rune, enemy the world effects, all kinds of other burn effects. This card, you could... Great card. Great card, and she's cute too. Always a bonus in my book. Yeah, apart from that, I pretty much covered all the heal engine cards, except for Robo-Wing. She's just a kind of solid 2 mana, spawns a repair mode in your hand, 1 mana heal, 2 mana 2/2, always a solid card. 2 mana 2/2 that gives you a heal proc for your other heal effects. Also a good card. All around just a solid turn 2 play. For your banishes you have Blackened Scripture. Not this shit though again. Blind Justice. Solid banish hard removal. Myth Cleaver. This thing, if you can get the board set up for it, is so goddamn good at controlling the opponent's board turn 6. Like, if you can set it up to banish the right enemy follower, especially against Rune or any other class that hates getting his followers banished, this thing is 3 free hard removal banishes, random banishes, which gets around hexproof I might add, against the enemy. Also, bonus effect, banish an enemy amulet. The most relevancy that might get you is Path to Purgatory from Shadow and the occasional Earth Essence from Rune. Not too much else. Oh, and Priest of Excess, of course. I forgot to mention this at the start, but the main star player of this deck, the guy that gets you wins, that deals damage to the enemy face, Radiance Incarnate. Oh, look at this dude. He's a dude. What can you do? Anyway, basically, you play it on turn 5, it deals 0 damage. Turn 6, it deals 1 damage. So on and so forth. This thing will eventually ramp up to turn 10, where it's dealing 5, 6, 7 damage a turn, and in combination with the World's Effect, as well as chip damage from Major Meowskers, you just win games off this guy's effect alone. Unless, of course, your enemy somehow manages to OTK you, but what can you do? It's what allows this deck to work, with all the control tools, with all the delaying of the enemy's chip damage, as well as denying the enemy's engines, you know, swords, follower counter, destroyed counter, artifact portals, artifacts destroyed, instead of getting destroyed they get banished. Rune, you deny the Shikigami spell boosts with banishing the last words. And then while that's going on, the clock is ticking on the opponent because this guy will be consistently hitting face for 2, 3, 4 damage every turn. This is what wins you games. This is what made Control Haven a real deck. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get into it. Neo Eris, very cute. Okay, so this is a bloody amazing hand. Guess I'll keep the bill. Bloody amazing hand. This is mostly the kind of hand you want when going first, because Golden Bill gets you that draw, Major Prayers gets you that draw. If I really wanted to, I could probably play Meowskers aggressively. But against Portal, which is likely to be Artifact Portal, I wouldn't play Meowskers early for the chip damage, because Artifact Portal does easily heal up that chip damage easily with the Red Beyblade artifact from Paradigm Shift. The Rush 3-4 that has Drain on it. Very annoying card. And what's also annoying is not being... I'll probably draw here and hope to recover with the kill on turn 5. This deck does have a fair amount of healing on it with it, so you can get away with stalling the game out. This kind of works out as well. Yeah, I think I'll just double banish there. Next turn, Kel onto the entire board. Right, so he's either going to Evo Point onto his 4 mana, which is either going to be Archaeologist or Modesty usually. If he didn't have Archaeologist or Modesty there, most likely what he would have done is played whatever he had in hand, and then evolved one of the 1/1s on board to hit face for 3 damage. But he didn't do that, so I'm quite happy. Stalling is the name of the game. Stalling destroying the robotic engineers until later on is also good as well, because it denies his paradigm shift counter from going down on those paradigm shifts that spawn from the robotic engineers. Not too sure about this one here, this play here. I could Myth Cleaver here. Probably more mana efficient. Ooh, this might hurt a bit. 6 damage to face. That's gonna be a fair pain to heal from. Alright, so I'm thinking either I can kill into Yukari or I world into Priest of Excess. I do want to get the raw effect down, but it's kind of tricky. Kind of tricky, especially when he has all these followers on board. The Myth Cleaver will take out one of his followers if I raw. But I think it's probably better to try and survive here. And what he could do is Robo Wing, evolve Robo Wing. It's not the worst play. Beast of Excess. This is very much a greedier play. Very much a greedy play here. Because I'm giving him free access to 4 damage to phase. I should be able to heal it up, but it's gonna be a pain. Okay, that's interesting. I'm hoping Priest of Excess gets that Radiant next turn. Or not. So, what I can actually do... Banish the artifact. Hit that. Save the evolve for kill. And banish the Radiant. Ah yes, artifact hates Control Haven. I'm telling you. You see that? Artifact scan usually spawns 2 artifacts? That's the only artifact destroyed this match! What's up? What is up, my dude? Ouch, oofed, 1 damage, whatever shall I do? Well, all I can say is poor guy. Alright, so sneak attack here. Now, what I could do... I was thinking of Priest into Major Prayers. But I'll probably just do this. Will I? Alright, what I'll do is I'll Robo Wing. I'm gonna float 1 mana. But I think it's worthwhile to save the Lorena for another turn and then save the Yukari for another turn as well. Alright, so option I'm thinking is 2 Scripture, 2 Priest, 3 Yukari, 3 Major Prayers. Scripture, Yukari, Excess, Major Prayers. Evolve Major Prayers, hit face. And that should be game. That's game. And as you can see, that's the power of Control Haven. What can you do?
せめて安らかに。
Alright. Let's go for game 2. Ah, yes, it's the coffin map.
過ち
Ooh,
の
Medusa. I turn 2 excess. I guess that works. Did I Golden Bell on turn 1? Interesting interaction between Blind Justice and Bloodcraft decks. Bloodcraft decks will usually try and take advantage of their pain effects to activate the world on turn 5 consistently, a little more consistently, but Blind Justice just kind of denies that play to the Blood player, funnily enough, so just little something to keep in mind. Now, what do you know? There's the man himself, or Tarot himself. Well, whatever he is, it's a man. It looks like a man. It's some kind of like godly, evil man thing. It's a man. It's a man. Ouch, that hurts. And I end my turn with no cards played. Oh. Ha. It's a pain card in a pain deck. That's interesting, actually. Double Robo Wing. So one of these bad boys is gonna get Bane, which is actually kind of neat. So, let's see, next turn, hopefully I won't have to play the world. I don't think I'll have an option to play the world either way. I'll probably just Ra next turn. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out what kind of deck is playing. Like, if it's using Larage, it kind of points towards a more draw-oriented deck that utilizes, I don't know, Ravening Corruption, especially with Night Prowl Vampire, that also points towards a Ravening Corruption. Usually you wouldn't put Behemoth in that kind of deck though. I don't know. I don't know what this guy's going for, it's kind of weird. I was thinking he might have worlded there, but then his denying the Ravening Corruption he almost definitely got from that Night Prowl Vampire. So, do I attack here? Well, the thing is, right, could go a bit more aggressive. Why not? And then you can either Priest of Excess or Major Prayers. Major Prayers would have worked there. That's kind of sad, but what can you do? Priest of Excess, Last Words, Banish enemy follower. Ooh. Gonna deal 2 damage to my face and heal up. These Blind Justice that I have, Justices, Justy. 2 copies of Blind Justice in my hand. Whoa, boy. Okay. Alright, so that's gonna clear my board, and that's gonna deal 5 damage to face. I mean, I can just weld it off. No biggie. Could Myth Cleaver? Myth Cleaver? Repair mode? Yeah. Hills are never bad. Hills are always good. Having said that, I don't have anything on board to soak up the damage, so that's something I should have considered. Should be fine, I should be able to heal off the excess damage. Now honestly, I don't know if all these extra Blind Justice are what I want right now. But hey, if it puts him out of the world range, I'm all for it. Oh. Oh, I could have just let the Myth Cleaver go off there. Man, that is a misplay and a half. Oh, really? Really? I am, bro. I guess I will world into your world and we will see who's the best one in the world. Pretty fun. So sue me. Ooh, that's my last world. I'm gonna use this before it becomes irrelevant. Alright, so next turn is likely World into Blind Justice into Major Prayers. I haven't actually run into this matchup of Control Blood versus Control Haven. Well, actually no, I wouldn't say it's Control Blood. More like Ravening Corruption Blood. That happens to run a fair number of control tools. Fair number. Alright, so World. I evolve here. Let's not evolve. I'm being really greedy, but I do want to get that Myth Cleaver Golden Bell Major Prayers off next turn. Okay. I would have saved that for next turn. That doesn't do anything either. What are you doing? What are you doing? That makes sense. Really trying to see what it's doing. I get lethal. Turn 11, 6 damage. Yukari 2, 6, 8. 8 damage. Major Prayers 4, 8, 12 damage. I missed lethal, but he conceded anyway. Yikes. I missed lethal there. Alright. So, yeah, so the lethal there was 2 damage from one Meowskers, 2 damage from the second Meowskers, 4 damage, 2 damage from the evolution, 6 damage, 2 damage from the Yukari, 8 damage, 6 damage from the Ra effect, 14 damage, hit face, lethal, win. Hey, I still won. Second! Wait, I don't want to go second. This is a Roach deck, I'm gonna cry. If this is an Evolved deck, I'm also gonna cry. Funnily enough, Control Haven doesn't do well against other decks that use Control as a form of inevitability. Hey, what do I know? Alright, it's using some kind of Forestcraft using the Accelerate engine. It used to be indicative of a Mantis deck. Nowadays, I'm not so much sure. Could be Amataz, could be Evolution. Probably Evolution. But Cockroach is just such a good generic card that every deck uses it anyway, so I wouldn't know. Evolution, Evolution Roach, Normal Roach, Accelerate Roach, probably Accelerate Roach. I'm like 90% sure it's Accelerate Roach now. Definitely uses Roach. Definitely uses Accelerate. Yeah, not so sure about that one. Not sure about that one, Chief. Asks Raid. Alright, so I could have played Scripture there and floated 2 mana. Instead I'm using Major Prayers, number 1, because I don't need the extra draw. Number 2, I leave something on board for him to deal with. Hopefully he doesn't use it to his advantage and like Roach, Airbound Strike or something. Yeah, this way he has to spend mana dealing with my threat on board, even though he actually doesn't need to. So that's nice at least. Then we're gonna place a ward. I'll probably save that for lethal Roach turn. On the other hand, I kind of want to start dealing damage with Ra's effect as soon as possible, without compromising my other turns. Yeah, that is annoying. Is this Evolve Roach or is this Roach Bounce Roach Evolve? Ooh. Yeah, that's a pain. What can you do? What can I do? That's a good question. Play another Eye and hope that I can keep playing Raz. Alright, this sets him up perfectly for Lionel next turn. And I really don't have an answer to that. Well, alright. If he plays Lionel, I play Myth Cleaver, he plays Roach. Probably plays a second Roach. Probably plays a third Roach. Oh, we good. We Gucci. We Gucci. We Gucci. We Gucci. Priest. All I can really do is play down big bodies and maybe takes time dealing with them. Unless this is a Roach lethal turn. Goodbye, world! Disgusting. Disgusting. Filthy Roach player. Yeah guys, anyway, that's Control Haven. Some very not so standard matches there, but what can you do? Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much most of the gameplay of the deck in a nutshell. In terms of matchups, outside of the top 3 decks that you would usually see on ladder, stuff like Evolved Sword, Artifact Portal, Spellbeast Rune, against some of the other more rogue or tier 2 decks though, like you saw there, Control Blood, or well, any form of blood really gives you a tough time. Especially with all the burn damage outputs, it's kind of hard to heal against all that burn damage coming out, especially with Ravening Corruption. There's also Accelerate Control Roach, which is basically a very unfavorable matchup. You don't run a lot of wards in this deck, your only ward is Ra, so you're just delaying the inevitable and hoping they don't draw into their 6, 7, 8 Roaches that win them the game straight up. But all in all, very solid anti-meta deck. I would recommend crafting it if you have the spare cards crafting around. I wouldn't recommend it so much if you have to craft the entire deck from scratch. Main thing to note is that Accel is from the Rebirth of Glory expansion, which will be rotating out towards the end of October, I believe. End of September. And I'm just checking. I think Robo-Wing is also Rebirth of Glory, although she isn't so much of a core card. Golden Bell is also Rebirth of Glory, so you'll be losing a few key pieces of the deck come the next expansion. The other thing to consider is the meta shifts within the next month or so. While Control Haven is a prevalent and very solid anti-meta deck, it's in the name, it's anti-meta. It's only as relevant as the decks it's targeting, and if those decks fall into relevancy or if they fall out of the meta, as invariably does happen with every new expansion, it's not going to be as relevant anymore. But regardless, the world is a very solid craft that I do see being used in many expansions to come. Rar, it's okay. It's a solid legendary. What more can I say? Anyway, yeah, this is Blue Blade 11, and I'll be signing out. Ciao.